Pokemon cards are actually having some healthy drops happening across the board. And honestly, this is just so welcomed, especially since the 30th celebration has caused some straight up issues for a lot of collectors. Honestly, the 30th celebration pricing has just been such a big topic. And look, I did cover it in a recent video, but the issues of just not having enough supply, there's a huge amount of scalping going on. There's price gouging. There is just so many things happening. And it is one of the lower points for the hobby. I mean, honestly, when Prismatic Evolutions had all that fuss in early 2025. That was bad, but at the same time, it was all new as well, so we had a bit more grace. Though while the demand is seemingly at an all-time high right now, there's been a very interesting shift in the market because the market seems to be softening a little bit. Now, I wouldn't call this a correction at all, though there are pockets of the market quieting down, especially for high-graded slab. Though it is very important just to remember one thing at the moment, and it is the summer period for US and Europe. Like I do mention, right now, I wouldn't be looking at any price drops and thinking this means anything significant for the future because this is very common during this time of year. Though it is just something to monitor because, like I said, if there were a lot of cards that you were thinking about adding for your master set, you do have a very unique time in the market right now. Maybe after the 30th celebration, things are going to spike again. Maybe they'll drop. I personally think there will be a bit of a correction after the 30th celebration, though that's all speculative. Moving on to the Meowth Special Illustration Rare from Perfect Order. Really like this card, man. I love it. Sick artwork. I did buy this card actually, and I bought it at the all-time high. This card was selling for $200. Right now, selling for $152. Like I said, I did buy this card at an all-time high, but I just really wanted it. I thought it was a really cool special illustration rare. But yeah, man, $152. I do imagine that this card has room to drop as well because Perfect Order is a very rare set that you can still buy it at retail price. That just doesn't happen, dude. Right now in the Pokemon hobby, actually, Perfect Order, Chaos Rising are both sets that you can buy pretty easily at retail price. That is a good sign, though again, with sets that are going to be more in demand, kind of Ascended Heroes vibes, 30th Celebration, or potentially even the Mega Rayquaza set that's going to release, they're going to be more telltale signs of where the market's at. Yes, we have some consistency with Chaos Rising and Perfect Order being a little bit easier, and potentially Pitch Black will be as well, though we just got to see and play it by ear at the moment because yeah, it's getting wild. Now, PSA 10 cards are the ones I really want to look at because PSA has paused their value tier options. So pretty much your cheapest option to grade with PSA right now is 80 USD a slab. But here's the kicker. There's actually a lot of PSA 10 cards that are right now dropping in price, and you're not actually, like, there's no way to send in new submissions for the value tier service. So this is just a strange thing happening right now. Though here we are on the, and this is just crazy to me to see PSA 10 cards actually coming down a little bit in price. The Mega Feraligatr in PSA 10 was selling at an all-time high for $843. Right now selling for $491. So the big hits in the market at the moment are actually with graded slabs. And one thing I always tell all of you, if you think something's gonna make sense logically in this hobby, usually the reverse happens. Like I said, right now, this card in particular fits the whole value service submission. That is a perfect one that is for like a card that you can get sent graded for $32 or whatever it is, $30 that they've closed off, but yet it is coming down in price. How interesting is that? You would think because less are going to be coming on the market or no one can submit these that are all getting pulled right now. That's why with the 30th celebration, even though I'm predicting maybe there's going to be a correction, the complete opposite can happen. So that's why like logic just doesn't make sense in this hobby. Same thing here with the Emboar. We can see an all-time high for 400 US. Right now, the PSA 10 Emboar selling for 236. So yeah, 236. Honestly, I have to be real with you. That's not a bad price for a PSA 10 card for such a rare card to pull from Ascended Heroes. 400 to 236. Definitely looking like a not bad buy at the moment, but again, can they drop more? Honestly, at a $236 price range for a PSA 10 card, really rare. Could definitely drop more because there is cheaper slabs for sure. But again, it is interesting what's happening. Also, if you have been loving the video so far, I just want to say hi and welcome if you are a first timer. I'm Phil. I've been making content around Pokemon cards and collectibles for around 2.5 years now. Honestly, I'd love your support on the channel. Definitely feel free to subscribe. And another one, it is the Mega Meganium SIR as well. Was selling for $426. Right now selling for around $311. The reason why I chose these three slabs in particular is because these are the 3 starter Pokemon from Pokemon Legends EA. So I just thought they were interesting to choose, to be honest. But yeah, there you go. you can see that there is definitely some drops happening in the PSA 10 market, more so than singles at the moment. But hey, if you do love graded cards, I do want to talk about today's sponsor, Sushi Grade. So Sushi Grade is a website built all around card grading, though while you're on the site, you can actually access a lot of grading data, and by tweaking your settings, you can actually find some very hidden grading opportunities in the market. One area I really like is the cross grading section. This is super useful because it lets you know which slabs would get a value bump if cross graded. Another really cool feature is if you do head to the tools section, you can actually download the card magnifier. This is a very useful tool, especially when you're shopping on online marketplaces, because you can use it as a centering tool. Honestly, Sushi Grade makes grading decisions much easier, and you can use the code on screen to get 10% off your first month. Honestly, a massive thanks to Sushi Grade supporting the channel. All the details are in the video's description. Let's get back to the video. All right, let's just go into the market drops or some of the cards that are seemingly coming down in price, and lol at this. This card was selling for 134 US and an insanely sharp decline to $77. That's funny, man. That is so funny. And that is, if you want to talk about predictable cards that would drop, this is it. If you don't know why this card spiked, hold on, let me just open that up in the 6 month. There you go. That 6 month chart's just been opened. You can see this card was selling for 33 US. Then right around here, it was selling for $40 and it went all the way up to $134. And like I said, now it's selling for that $77 mark. What happened was the Pokemon 30th celebration was revealed. This card was shown that it was going to be in the 30th celebration with a promo video. Everyone went crazy about it. Everyone thought that this card is just going to spike. I actually covered this card in detail when I saw that spike happen. And I just told everyone, hey, listen, like, do not buy it. That is going to drop so heavy. There's no reason for it. It's getting hyped for no reason at all. And of course, we can see a pretty healthy drop there. But then again, hey, fair enough. It was selling for $40. Now it's gone up to $77. If you did want to add it to your collection, why not? Though interestingly, I'm just on the PSA 10 version of this card as well. So this one was more insane. So it went up from 284. And of course, when that big spike happened, the PSA 10 sold for 985 US. Ridiculous price. Just so bananas, man. That's banana behavior right there. But here we go. We can see the PSA 10 has dropped. Right now selling for $700. I do imagine that this card may even drop further in that PSA 10 grade because, yeah, like I said, man, it just came out of nowhere. It was a really silly kind of decision that people were doing. And I hope that drops more because it's a good lesson. Don't buy into hype swings and FOMO. I talk about that a lot. Now, moving on to Mega Gengar, the SIR. Market high for this right here was $1,451 for a raw copy of a card that is brand new, essentially. That is, wow, this card is just an example of how insane the Pokemon hobby is. Though we can see it went down to around 1,247 and right now had a little bit of a recovery just under 1,300 US. Again, very high price. This, I personally wouldn't be touching this card. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's just too volatile in the sense that this could drop heavy depending on what happens with the 30th celebration, depending where demand's going to be after the 30th celebration. So it's kind of a very risky purchase, in my opinion, this card in particular. There is a lot of talk that Pokemon's going to be working on the scalping things and the supply issues and all that. There is talks about that. But look, does that mean more Ascended Hero is going to come on the market? Who knows? I don't know. For me, still paying over $1,000 for a raw card. If that was a PSA 10, I'd say, yeah, go for it, but yeah, not for a raw, no way. But even Chaos Rising is pretty interesting because it did have a high for 269. Right now selling for 225. Really unique because Phantasmal Flames was already showing a lot of demands pretty much early. As soon as it released, there was a little bit of a drop, but then it started going really high in prices. Chaos Rising is having a bit of a calm down period right now. A lot of people are not too happy with both Chaos Rising and Perfect Order. I personally think the sets are actually okay. I have no really issues with them. I think Perfect Order as well, like I've said on my channel, the illustration rares I do really like. So we're gonna see what happens in the long term. Obviously with sealed product, there's always a chance that it can just start spiking out of nowhere. Both Chaos Rising and Perfect Order don't have any signs that they're just gonna start spiking in price. Personal opinions aside, the general market has decided that they don't really like these two sets. It is interesting that two have been a little bit, I would say, boring for the general market. It looks like Pitch Black's also on that same vibe where people aren't too excited. But then again, 30th celebration is where a lot of that demand is gonna go super, super parabolic. The Mega Greninja has has definitely dropped. All-time high of 575. Sure, pre-release, that hype and excitement, but man, it's actually dropped a lot. Selling for 272. I was actually gonna buy this card. Again, I was gonna be a banana and pay, I think I was gonna buy it around like that price there, 449, pretty much the all-time high. I was about to do it, and I'm thankful I didn't. Right now, I do have an opportunity, and pretty much this is one of the most, I think right now, it's just a weird time to be buying. Main reason is because that post 30th celebration is very cloudy for me right now. Usually, I feel like I have a good kind of like, oh yeah, I can see clearly what's gonna happen, or I can make some predictions, kind of link up the data points. Though the post 30th celebration, we've got the Mega Rayquaza set coming out. It's exciting, sure, but it doesn't have that Prismatic Evolutions 151 30th celebration aura about it. So yes, there is a very big kind of question mark of what's gonna happen after that. Again, here with the Frogadier, was selling right here for 33 US, dropped a lot, selling for $8. Sure, illustration rare, but I did think because they were connecting artworks and it was a more interesting kind of artwork, these three connecting artworks, I thought it would have performed a little bit better, but there you go, the market isn't really responding to that much either. And we can see the Froakie as well, was selling for around 50 US, dropped down to 23. Right now, Froakie's selling for $12 or pretty much 13 US. Nothing too crazy, man. So there definitely has been quite steady drops right now in the market. But then again, remember, it is the summer period. Right now, it's just, if you do want, the way I look at it, everything right now, if there's cards that you wanted to add to your master set and you were deciding whether or not it's the right time to buy it, right now would probably be the best time in the year, because when the US and Europe winter periods happen, where it's summer for us in Australia, and you're gonna see Singlet Phil return in the tank top, and you're gonna be very excited about that, that's when it starts changing. But for now, 13 US to add it into your binder, fantastic, right? Easy purchase. So, though as much as these changes are happening, it is very interesting to see what's gonna happen a year from today. And I do have a few predictions about that, and you can see those in this video on screen here. Honestly, in this video on screen, I go over all my predictions for Pokemon cards in 2027 and beyond. If you love this video, you're gonna really enjoy that video there. Click the video on screen. Appreciate you watching, and hey, I'll see you on the next video.